You had your chance and then you blew it.
That is the most absurd statement of the year.
Nice. Nice.
Oh, baby.
I'm in my zone, I'm feeling it.
Live from West St. Paul Studios, it's time for MinneZona Sports Live with DJ Mattie C and Paul the Shield Vold.
And this is MinneZona Sports Live. We are back, yes, episode 165, raring to go. And yes, in the comments, Easy A said that, yes, we are not talking about Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. Thank God. It's Minnesota stuff. That's what we're going to stick with tonight. Well, you know, we have the national media stuff. Anywho, I'm your host, DJ Mattie C, a.k.a. Matt Callan, a.k.a. Callan, a.k.a. Mattie C, etc., etc., etc. And all the way from Granite City Studios in St. Cloud, Minnesota, Shield. What's going on there, Shield?
You know, if we talk any more about the whole Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce situation, I think I might implode just because the amount of Taylor Swiftness, for all the Swifties out there that got their love during the summer that happened, obviously, with the whole tour and everything. It's done. I'm Taylor Swift out already, and it's not even week 4 of the season, but we know it's going to be a long, long NFL season here at this rate.
It will, and here's what I'm going to add. I have no problem with Travis Kelce because he is on my fantasy team. Not saying that matters by any means. But I've got nothing against Taylor Swift But here's the thing.
neither.
I could care less, and I really
Good for
could
them.
care less. Good for them, yeah. Okay, I'm giving them claps. Good for you. You guys are together. Yes or no? I don't really give a S.
now.
All right?
Yeah.
Maybe I'll drop the S-bomb here tonight. We'll see. I don't know. But it depends on what we're talking about. So,
Yep.
But Voldy, we have an announcement that we have to make here on the show. We've got it stacked lineup tonight. So, but before we get to that, we want to remind the zoners that to make your MinneZona picks. And
Please do.
all of you have done a fantastic job, don't get me wrong. And the thing is, too, is even if you miss a week, like something weird happened, you still have chances to win MinneZona merch. So you could be like, I'm out of it now. No, you can actually win some stuff. So with that being said, we have another prize week this week. And Voldy, tell them what they're getting.
So as we enter week 4 of the NFL schedule, and yes, we know that the Minnesota Vikings are 0-3 on the schedule. We're hoping they don't go 0-4. For that, we need to look back a little bit and cherish some of the good times that we had. Since we're going into week number 4, how about we hit up old number 4?
Hey!
That's right. A Brett Favre jersey is up for grabs. Week 4 here with your NFL pick'em for MinneZona. Get those picks in. Pick competitively, and if you are the top bringer at the end of the week, you're taking this bad boy home with you. No, it's not autographed, but it has been in possession of the Vold collection for a number of years. It's brand new. It's a double XL for all you Packer fans out there. I don't care. You're getting the jersey regardless. You know a Vikings fan. Give it to them. I don't really care. I'll send it to you in the mail. No big deal. If you win, it's great. If you don't win, or if me or Matt wins, so be it. We'll maybe give it away then the following week. It's all up to you. Get those picks in. We're throwing in the Favre jersey as the prize this week.
Let's do it. There'll be a post tomorrow for the people that, usually come in for the pre-recorded, or the recording after, I should say, and check that out, and we'll get that set up for you. So make those picks. Brett Favre jersey could come your way. Voldy, there's a lot of, I don't know, I feel like there's more bad than good this week. The Vikings lose. Yours truly was at the game. I'll talk about that here for Hot Take. But the Gophers, an embarrassing loss to Northwestern.
Double woof.
A double woof. And then, not the triple woof, but the Minnesota Twins are your 2023 AL Central champions. Now, you're probably expecting myself to rip on the Twins. Well, look at what I have on right now, for goodness sake. I'm wearing the stuff here, you know.
The brand,
I want to rep the brand because, it's something it's a good accomplishment. I'm going to explain a little more once we get to that. So that's what we got. We got a stacked hot take tonight. And then tonight, we're doing Infinity Rankings NFL edition. We're doing we're bringing them back for this for tonight, and then ARA a little bit shortened, but there's a lot we got to talk about. Damianlillard, he's a Milwaukee Buck now. We got that going on, and plenty more with Shield Shoutouts coming up. I don't know how to feel about the Twins being champions in their division. Yeah, well, just wait. Well, we'll get into that. I've got some thoughts, and I'm sure Voldy does as well. So, Voldy, without further ado, let's get it going with some Tater Tot Hot Take.
Fresh out of the oven, it's Tater Tot Hot Take.
All right, it is time for some Tater Tot Hot Take. The first one that we got to start off with, and again, I don't know if, people probably did see the social media, so from my account, and obviously our MinneZona Sports Live, but the Vikings fall to 0-3. We've talked about how they're just turning over the ball too much. They're giving up yards. They're blitzing more. There's a lot of things that are factored in, but the one thing is that the Vikings undoubtedly are 0-3. I was at the game at US Bank Stadium, and let me tell you what, I saw a lot of good things, but I also see a lot of bad things, and I feel like there's a lot to unpack with this game. But I want to start off, just kind of tee off with Voldy here, and then zoners, please let us know what your thoughts are as well on the game. Comment in. Are you pissed? Are you mad? I wasn't upset. I was just sad, just because I'm like, I don't want to be 0-3. No one wants to be 0-3. And then it's like, well, you look at the stats, and shout out to my guy, Joe Krieger, for looking that stat up. If teams that start 0-3 have like a 2.5% chance of making the playoffs. So shout out Jay Kriegs. But I don't know. It feels different for me. But Voldy, what are your thoughts on the game, where things are at right now with our Minnesota Vikings?
Look, I just feel like I've been lucky, to say the least, that I haven't been able to watch any of the games except for that Thursday night game against Philly. That's been the only one to really say, hey, this is not a good start for the season, obviously. And I can tell you, just based off what I heard and or saw from ESPN updates, social media as well, that turnovers are killing the team. The defense couldn't stop a nosebleed if their both nostrils were plugged with tampons. But that's not saying much, because of the fact that we know that Kirk Cousins is turning into, for lack of a better term, a human bucket itself, because the man is slinging yards, slinging tutties, and keeping his team in the game. Again, every single one of these games, it's been a one-score difference. And obviously last season, Vikings were 11-0 in one-score games. Now we're 0-3 to start the season, too. And he's on pace to throw for 50 touchdowns. I think it's 12 interceptions or something like that, and 6,000 yards. Last time I checked, those are MVP numbers. But sadly, he's on pace for an 0-17 season as well. Hopefully it doesn't go that direction as we continue on. But really, the defense has really been the suspect out of it all. And other guys can't hang on to the football right now. So a real big emphasis on hanging on to the football and getting off the field too. And if we saw anything from that contest, the really only thing that I saw was that near interception from Caleb Evans that landed right into the hands of the Chargers receiver, who backpedaled, could have taken a nap, eaten a sandwich, gone to the bathroom, read a magazine, and then scored the touchdown. Well, that's how wide open he was after the fact, because there was nobody around to help him. That would have been an amazing interception of Caleb Evans. Didn't go off his hands, off his helmet, off his ankle, off the water boy on the sidelines, then landed into the guy's hands as well. It's just, that is the Vikings season so far in a nutshell, was that play alone.
And a lot of this stuff I feel sometimes is self-inflicted. I want to...
Yes.
That play in general, like right when it tipped off his hands,
yep.
I saw the ball and I'm like, oh gosh, the receivers are going to catch it. And Palmer brings it in, reels it in, touchdown, Chargers. I mean, putting himself in that position is great, but you got to make the play. Unfortunately for Caleb Evans, because he has played pretty well, I will say. Byron Murphy, I think, did what he could against Keenan Allen. I feel like they had Keenan Allen in different places at different times. Shoot, the guy threw a touchdown pass, like he had so many receptions, key receptions in that game. And he's had a stellar career with the Chargers, so I give him credit for that. Herbert's damn good. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Defensively, I'd like to see them give up less yards, but that's neither here nor there, especially that, you're putting in a lot of guys and, you have somewhat of a pass rush with Daniil, but you're going to need some help from the other guys as well. And, I mean, where the hell is Marcus Davenport, for goodness sake? I mean, good Lord. So that's something to think about, too. But a lot of the issues, I feel like, are self-inflicted. You have TJ Hawkins. I think we didn't get the ball first. They had the ball first. We got it second. We brought it down to the red zone, and then, unfortunately, TJ Hawkinson fumbles the ball. And We've been preaching since, week 1. Hold on to the ball. Don't make the turnovers. It's that simple. But what happens on Thursday? Well, we keep fumbling with Madison, Powell, Jefferson, the whole deal, Cousins. But the one bright spot, like you mentioned, Voldy, is one Kirk Cousins. And he's leading in passing yards. I'm not sure if he's leading in passing touchdowns. But it's showing why, when people point the finger, they say Kirk Cousins, his fault, didn't get it done, and then they look at that interception. It's always the case, the national media, but we all know that by now. Here's the one thing that peeves me the most, is that when he gets down to those game situations and they don't fully analyze it, they don't see, maybe they could have protected him better. Maybe Hawkinson should hold on to the ball. Was it a throw that he should have made in that sense? Probably not. It's just kind of, it's one of those things. Yeah, it's just kind of one of those things where, it's not always Kirk's fault. And I've said this ever since we've done this show. It's not always Kirk's fault. And in this instance, it's all the crowd noise and all that. Everyone's talking about the crowd noise, and he picked the play that O'Connell wanted to do. But here's where I have to kind of come down on O'Connell here, unfortunately.
I have to.
Spike the ball. Spike the ball. My dad, Papa Callahan, and I were saying, spike the ball, spike the ball. Everyone was saying that. But Kirk just was like rushing. In that instance, I feel like Kirk should have just said, no, we're spiking it. I want 2 plays instead of 1, right?
Yeah.
You have two shots to get in the end zone. This is the worst defense in the league as of right now. Mm-hmm. I mean, they can't do jack, you know what. So with the hurry-up play, I mean, he was doing what he was supposed to. The crowd noise, okay, maybe was factored in, but what are you going to do? Not cheer when we get closer and closer to the touchdown? It's just like, I don't know. You have to expect that, especially in U.S. Bank Stadium. So, you got to factor that in. And also, another thing too, Jordan Addison, had a chance to catch a touchdown pass in the back of the end zone. He unfortunately dropped it. These are the types of things where this usually went our way, right? We would catch those. Yeah. We would go last year, like we said. Mm-hmm. This year, it's not bouncing the way that we want it to. Okay, and here's where I'm going to. Alan really helped my fantasy team against the commish. LOL. Hey, guess what, Easy? Nobody cares. No one cares, man. No one gives a rat's butt.
That's such an idiot.
Phil, help me out.
He's always been like this.
I like to mess with him. But anyway, the thing is now that it's not going against, now that it's going against them, it's like, see, all these, the Austin Hanleys of the world and the other guy, the Kirk haters, they're like, see, it wasn't going to go your way. You're not as good as, you guys think you are. We should have beat the Bucks. We should have beat the Eagles. We should have beat the Chargers. It's that simple. And Brandon Staley, what an idiot. 4th and inches, and you run just this worthless play. You decide to go for it, and they said the announcer says he deserves to be fired, even though they won the game. But honestly, they gave us a chance. You punt the ball. You play defense.
It's not so much that they won the game. It's, again, the Vikings lost.
Right, the Vikings lost the game. You're giving us a chance. I mean, you don't make this. We get a chance. We score. It's over. So, unfortunately, the Vikings weren't able to pull it off. But Voldy, they're at 0-3.
Yeah.
People are saying trade Kirk Cousins. People are saying all this. It's over. You guys need to look at the future, and you got to realize that this isn't the way to handle it 3 weeks into the season. And it's like they're going to realize they're not going to the Super Bowl or anything like that. We never said that the Vikings were going to go into the Super Bowl. What we said was, who are you going to put back there? If you put Nick Mullins back there, we're not winning a game. I mean, we're maybe one, maybe two, maybe tops 3 games.
Right.
You put any other quarterback back there, besides maybe Mahomes, maybe Herbert and things like that, this team's not going anywhere. Nope. You need to have interior offensive line. Ed Ingram had some bright spots, but he also turned into Ed Ingram again and didn't get it done. So I hope Reisner on Sunday against Carolina is going to be starting up. So fingers crossed on that. Voldy, your thoughts? Do you think after Sunday against Carolina, if the Vikings are 0-4, there's got to be some type of change? I'm not saying Kirk's being traded to the Jets, and we all know he has a no-trade clause. The Jets don't have any cap space. They don't have any picks to give because who those picks go to? The Packers, because, oh, by the way, they traded for Aaron Rodgers. He goes down with an injury. So that's not happening. If they go to 0-4, I mean, there's got to be something that has to, get going here for the squad, don't you think?
I would certainly say so as well. My logic is going to be looking at more of how is the offense going to be responding here,
right,
even with, obviously going to be a patchwork offensive line here the rest of the season too. I would be more suspect to see how maybe defensively we're going to change things up. If the Vikings lose on Sunday, I don't know what the future holds for Brian Flores and this, coaching staff that they have. I don't know what's got to change, what's got to develop, who needs to go, what needs to stay, who's all coming with, and who's all going. I really don't think that it's going to do anybody any good at this point to obviously cut the cord with Kirk Cousins. Like you said, everybody's saying, hey, trade him to the Jets. They need a quarterback. Again, it's a lose-lose situation. The Jets probably going to have to make some room and cut some players in order to handle his contract. And at the same time, the Vikings are going to go with a bunch of no-names the rest of the season and might as well go at 0-17 to get the number 1 overall pick. But it's not going to do anybody good at this point. The problem is not Kirk Cousins. We've been saying this from the very moment, from the very beginning of the season. Kirk Cousins isn't the issue. It's everything else that's going on around him. And like I've always said, you protect Kirk, he can make some plays there for you and open up things downfield for the team as well. I honestly don't know where to go. It's got to be coaching, I think, is the thing. I was even contemplating as well, maybe if they don't win this week, maybe Kevin O'Connell doesn't call plays anymore for the offense. I don't think that's something worth looking at. I don't know, because I feel like as a head coach, you should not be the defensive signal caller or the offensive coordinator calling plays as well. Got too many things going on elsewhere that needs your focus to be focused on one side of the ball as well. That's my personal feeling on it.
Right.
I could be called 1,000% wrong. My wife usually tells me that I'm wrong more times than not. That's just marriage right there, folks. But I think it's really going to come all down to this is, we were saying at the beginning of the season too, coming in maybe 2-1, 3-0 into this game against Carolina. This is the benchmark of the season right here, and we already know there's going to be a little extra juice because of the fact that Adam Thielen's going up against his old squad right now. Bryce Young is looking to be coming back here at quarterback too. If they can get after him and move some things around, maybe knock him out of the game, that'll certainly help. But this is the benchmark of the season. If it doesn't go well here, it could very well all go downhill from this point coming into Sunday.
Here's what I'm going to say going into Sunday, and I'm adding the sprinkle of 13 here. Beat the shit out of them. Beat the living shit out of them. That's what I want to have happen. They have the talent. They have the offense to get it done. Madison, he played pretty well. He ran the ball. They emphasized running the ball. And the fact that they're sitting at 0-3, this doesn't feel like a team that's terrible. This does not feel like a team that's terrible. They're blitzing way more than they ever did with Ed Donatel. I still believe in Flores. I 100% believe in Flores. Our secondary's okay. I still think there needs to be some tweaks, but, we're 3 games into the season. I'm not giving up hope yet. This is a lot of people like they should just tank. They should just tank. And you have the Munsons of the world, of course, the Ricky Rubio lover that is Cole Munson. Yeah. He thinks that we should talk to the Jets and all this stuff. They don't have any cap space. They don't have any picks to give. Okay?
Nope.
This, especially when Kirk's been balling like this. JJ's been phenomenal. Okay? He's the best wide receiver in the NFL. I know people, Tyreek Hill. Well, I would argue Justin Jefferson. Daniil Hunter, 5 sacks already this year. There's positives with this. We just need this win, man. We need this win on Sunday.
Win. Get a win under the belt. Build confidence.
Don't worry about KC. Don't worry about KC the week after this because, we don't expect them to beat KC. All right? Yes, they're riding off the high. Yeah, they could. Just don't do what the Bears did and get just railroaded, I mean, granted, it is in U.S. Bank Stadium, so there's going to be extra juice, so we'll see how that goes. But let's not, let's not, go too far ahead of ourselves with that game. But we play Adam Thielen. We love Adam Thielen, but I want our Minnesota Vikings to beat the crap out of the Carolina Panthers. I want them to just destroy them.
We can have a good game.
Sure.
Everybody else got to do bad.
Yes. That is exactly what I'm
10
thinking.
catches, 100 yards, couple of tuds because I'm starting him in fantasy this week for my team. Beyond that, Bryce Young going to throw 101 yards.
We still love you, Adam.
5 interceptions. He's going to be like 19 for 47 passing. So
yeah, we still love Adam Thielen, and we always will. So, but we're beating the brakes off of the Panthers. We need this, and I don't want no close game. I want the Vikings to beat the crap out of them. Sorry, Bryce Young, but it's got to happen.
Get out and stay out.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to a team that really disappointed this weekend. This past Saturday, the Gophers, the Rodents, as you'd like to say, lost to North freaking Western. We all know the deal with Northwestern, the hazing, the firing of Pat. It's Fitzgerald, right? Pat Fitzgerald.
That's Fitzgerald. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep,
and this team, you have no business in losing to this team. There were barely any people at the game, for one, because they all, things had gotten so bad. They came into the game averaging 19.7 points per game. They scored 21 points in the fourth quarter alone. That should tell you everything that you need to know. The Gophers had a 24-7 lead at one point, and then they scored 21 points in the fourth quarter. I, for one, wasn't able to watch the game, but I saw some of those highlights, and I swear, we talked about how good the defense is, but for the defense to let up that many points and yards and everything like that, playing prevent, and that's awful. That you should be ashamed of yourself losing to this team. And the fact that you weren't able to bounce back after losing to UNC, which, again, is a very good team. Drake May is a very good quarterback. But I'm sorry, this one's on coaching. This one, unfortunately, I hate to say it, is on PJ Fleck here. And he admitted it in the press conference and whatnot. And that's terrible. You can't lose to this team. They a couple fans stormed the field. Come on. You need to beat this team, and the fact that you weren't able to beat this team shows a little bit of question marks, because guess what? You play Michigan up here, up on Saturday. So
Lord,
this could be a rough one this weekend. But Voldy, what are your thoughts on this Gopher collapse this past week?
Well, I just looking at the drive that set up that game-tying drive as well. Look, Gophers had a chance, could not have executed it any better with the punt. Could have pinned them right inside the half-yard line. What is Quentin Redding doing? He's standing in the end zone, fields the ball for a touchback, and that set up that game-tying drive as well. Look, he lost all sense of perspective where he was on the field. His teammates were all like, what are you doing? Like, we were right here. He literally had 4 teammates right in front of him. All he had to do was either bat the ball or get out of the end zone, and it literally two-hopped right to him as he was standing in the end zone. That's where it all fell apart from that point. And leading up in that fourth quarter as well, yeah, the Gophers really thought they got this one in the bag, leading 24-17 or whatever it was, 24-7 or 21-7 at what point, whatever. They were up by 2+ scores at that point. They're just thinking, all right, we can mail this in. Let's run the ball. Let's work the clock here. While at the same time, I mean, Northwestern this whole season, they have nothing to lose at this point because they already know nobody's expecting them to do anything at all this whole season just because all the shenanigans that went off the field before the season started. The firing of the coach, new head coach, interim head coach in as well, questionable play of the team the last couple of seasons. And now you throw this one in, they are just going to be like, all right, well, we're just going to do whatever now at this point, whether we win or lose the rest of the season. It's because this comeback victory that they had. And it's just completely maddening because we were going to say the defense is going to ride a lot of these wins here this season. That's just because the offense has been questionable for a number of stretches here to begin the year too. And the defense is now making it feel like, I don't know if we're going to win a game the rest of the season at this point. And now you got Michigan coming in. That's going to be even more brutal to begin with in a late evening kickoff as well, going into obviously the final days of September into October. It's going to be a rough stretch, but this was just this was a trap game. This was a trap game. We already knew the fact it was a trap game. It would not want to suspect otherwise that it was not going to be a trap game. And I'm shocked by the fact that the Gophers couldn't pull through, especially knowing the fact that you're going to go into North Carolina there. That one was going to be a hostile environment, tough contest. You know, they lived up to expectations. They covered the spread, basically. That's what I was saying the whole game. It's like, just cover the spread, get out of there healthy. We'll go back into conference play. This one was just a complete wake-up call and slap to the face of the Gophers there, and really hope that they can at least hold their own against Michigan. I'm not expecting a win. Would I love to see a win? Absolutely. It's not going
huge
well
upset
against. It would be a ginormous upset. I think Huntington Bank Stadium would self-implode upon itself if that happened. But again, at least cover the spread, make those sports bettors very happy at the end of the day.
One thing I feel like this, I've kind of glossed past this just because I understand the importance of running the ball and, you know, all this stuff. I get the philosophy there. Right. But you have a tight end that is a man among boys. The guy's huge. We need to get the ball to span for it. And every time that from what I understand too, is that they had a 31-10 lead in the third quarter, right? And they they used Darius Taylor, who has been fantastic, by the way. Really like the way he's been playing. There's some bright spots. They did 3 run plays in a row. 3. Went nowhere. This is what I've been saying with the Golden Gophers. You need to be able to pass the ball. You have the talent at wide receivers. You need to let Callie McManus throw the ball a little bit. Because if you keep focusing on, we got to just run, play action pass, run, play action pass, it doesn't work like that. You need to be able to keep the defense guessing. You need to be able, yes, to run the ball. I understand that. But when you have the talent that you have, not only at wide receiver with Jackson, not only at tight end, not only at running, I mean, your running backs are studs. Use them out in the passing game. That's what they need to focus on. And the fact that they got conservative in the third quarter is a travesty to me. And them losing in overtime like that is even more so embarrassing. So they've got a lot to prove on Saturday against Michigan. Luckily, it is at Huntington Bank. I almost said TCF for a second there, but Huntington Bank Stadium. So I probably will just pop in here and there and watch it, but if it gets ugly, then on to the next thing. All right, let's talk about some good here. So our third Tater Tot Hot Take. The Minnesota Twins are your AL Central champions. We'll do a little bit of applause again. Yes, we know, and we know it was a bad division. Okay, we understand that, but let's not run around the fact that they in the second half of the season played a little bit better. They've been doing a lot of good things. Royce Lewis, can't get enough. He's been so good. I know he's on the IL right now, but he has been a godsend and just a key catalyst to this Minnesota Twins team. Going into these playoffs, and they still have a week to before it gets set in stone. But as of right now, they would take on the Astros, from what I understand. And I think they, get guys healthy. Correa, I know, should be ready to go playoff time, which will help a lot. Kirilloff is back. You got Kepler that's playing pretty well right now. Voldy, they got the division title. Yippee, kudos for them. We like it. That's fine.
Yep.
But, I mean, you got to break the streak here. You have to. Oh, yeah. You have to win at least one of these series. So, Voldy, how are the Twins going to, depending on who they play, let's just say it ends up being the Astros. It's not going to be an easy task, nonetheless, but they have to get past the first round, at least. What do you think?
I mean, looking if it does end up being the Astros are 2-4 against the Twins here this season. But obviously this is a different Astros team once it comes playoff time with that rotation that they have as well. But looking at, especially, too, with how the Twins clinched the division, when's the last time that they were able to clinch the division under their power without having to wait for someone to lose in order to claim victory of the AL Central? It's been a long, long time. Me and Joe Clements were actually talking about this. If it hasn't been since, like, the early 2000s, it's been a long while, because it certainly has been one of those where the Twins have needed as much help as they can to win the division, instead of just like, hey, win this game, hey, you're good to go. It's been a good long while for that stretch. But looking at how this team would fare going into Houston, it will definitely come into the realm of pitching as well, because we know that obviously the starting rotation has been fairly decent, I will say. I have a lot more confidence in this starting rotation than any other Twins team going into the playoffs in years past. It's been one or two starters, and maybe a third guy will show up. But this right now, you've got three solid, even a fourth solid starting pitcher that you can throw out there in a series as well and be extremely competitive. I mean, you've got Sonny Gray, Joe Ryne, Kenta Maeda in the mix there, obviously at the top there. You got a fourth guy whose name escapes me, but the bullpen too has always been something that's really let down the Twins come playoff time too. The bullpen is really starting to take shape. Obviously, the Twins did get back Chris Paddock the last week here of the season. He made an appearance the other night. That's great, just coming off Tommy John surgery 16 months ago. Getting these guys rested up, too, and not really skipping a beat, too. I mean, they're currently winning right now against the Oakland A's, which is good. At least build that confidence a little bit more. But with this whole makeup of the team, I would say, especially with a good mix of youth that they have in the lineup, this team as a very good depth situation that they have, and just about every facet, starting pitching, bullpen, even positions and hitting as well, than they have certainly had in years past. And maybe just one or two guys that may be suspect. But with the whole overall makeup of the team, I definitely say I like our chances against Houston.
I would hope so. And I do want to make a quick correction here. The Gophers play Louisiana this weekend, not Michigan. So, yeah, definitely, 100%. Thank you, Munson, for that. I would have probably. Thank you for the correction there. The Twins going to make the ALCS. What do you think? Is that possible, Voldy? Nah, baby.
So gotta win.
However that works, right?
It's more confusing every year with the playoffs too, because it used to be, you're in, you got to win the divisional series, then you're in the ALCS. It's like, but now it's like, okay, you got to win the wild card, Then you got to win the division series. Then you got to win the ALCS. It's like
I'm already
getting
confused.
more and more watered down. My head hurts just thinking about it.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to say yes.
Sure.
ALCS, sure,
Got to win
fine.
2 rounds. 2 rounds.
Got to win 2 rounds.
Okay.
Screw it.
So, I'm just, like I said, and I think there's a lot more juice now with this team. I still believe that we can get our hopes up and, go from there, but Rocco has to prove me wrong. And Rocco has to be able to manage this team well, because if it fails, you got to start looking at, and if they get completely destroyed by Houston, you got to start looking into maybe getting some new leadership, because we can't continue with Rocco Baldelli. But again, if they can win and get to, and I hope they go to the ACLS. If they get there, that'd be great. But I also know too that, we talk about this. Well, the Yankees aren't in; they got a chance, right? Yeah, you can have that positive attitude, but let's not forget that the COVID year of 2020, what was it, 2020 or 2021, whatever it was, with Bomba Squad, all that. The bats went silent. They weren't able to get it done. And this was a year that the Astros were coming off the cheating thing and the sign stealing, all that. And the Twins lost to them in the first frickin' round? Are you kidding me? So, I do kind of like their chances against Houston, but let's not forget that they still have this streak going, right? And it's probably going to be looming in the back of their heads. They just got to go out and play. Just go out and play, get it done, and just don't even worry about it. It's like now that you don't have to have the pressure of the Yankees hanging over you, but let's not forget that the Astros aren't bad either. And yeah, the season series, you've pretty much beat them 4 times, but now it's going to be a little bit tougher. But that's as of right now. It could be, it could be the Jays, I believe. So, hey, we could be taking on Coach Bo's Blue Jays, if I'm not mistaken. Rangers or Seattle as well. So, I feel like the Rangers would be a tough match. Oh, no, they're 5-2 against Texas. Okay, that's good. For some reason, I thought that they struggled with Texas, but yeah, congrats to the Twins, honestly. And again, I didn't even bring up the poll ads in this whole thing, but I'm proud of myself. I'll give myself that. No, but I really hope that they're able to get it done, and we can watch them play up baseball and enjoy it a little bit. But if it's a first round exit, you got to start looking into maybe finding some new leadership. Just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying. All right. That's going to do it for Tater Tot Hot Take this week. A lot of hot takes. 3 hot takes tonight. But they had to be addressed. We had to talk about it. So we'll kind of go from there. Tonight, we're doing some Infinity rankings. Since the NFL season has begun, I got to rank all these teams. And I want to throw this out there, too, to the zoners, that this list, it's going to change. I'm going to have my reasonings for all these teams and whatnot. It depends on how you look at it, right? You have to kind of, see okay, I know they're good. They haven't been playing well, but they're okay, things like that. So there's a lot to factor in, but I don't think there should be any too big of surprises. So without further ado, and yes, I did kind of come prepared as well. We got the gauntlet ready to roll. It's lighting up. We got our 6 Infinity Stones, so it's time for some, if I can find the video, Infinity Rankings.
While many have power rankings, none have captured them all. It's time for Mattie C's Infinity Rankings.
All right, it is time for some Infinity Rankings. I have my 6 Infinity Stones ready to roll for tonight. And, the NFL, there's been a lot of teams that have surprised, Voldy. Obviously, this list is kind of comprised of teams that, kind of stumbled out of the gate, but then kind of got their bearings a little bit and all that stuff. But without further ado, here are my 6. Boom! There it is. So we have our 6th Infinity Stone, the Detroit Lions. Now, as much as I hate to do this, zoners, I hate to do it, but they showed, hey, we can hang with the best. We can hang with the Chiefs. They got it done. And I give them credit. They're not as bad as the team as that we think here. I mean, they got some talent. Amon-Ra St. Brown's been playing really well. Jahmyr Gibbs shown some flashes. I still think he's getting used to the offense. Their offensive line is damn good. They're very good. They get off the ball quick. They can push people around. But they got the offense. Laporta has been playing very well for the Detroit Lions as well, so they add another weapon there. Defensively, they're okay. They're not great, but I think they can be exposed here by good teams. They beat the Chiefs. I mean, give them credit. Well, I know it was without Travis Kelce and all that, but still, they got the job done. They got the win. I'll put them at 6. So number 5, and as you can see, you can see me and also see the rankings. Let us know what you guys think in the comments. Number 5, the Bills. And the Bills, like I said, stumbling out of the gate against the Jets. Aaron Rodgers goes down, Zach Wilson gets put in, and then you lose. How does that happen? But after that game, they've been playing very well. They went out and kicked the crap out of the Raiders this past week. They went to town. But the true test is this Sunday when they take on the Miami Dolphins. And the Dolphins, they just put 70 on. Our good friend, Coach Payton, we'll get to that in a second. But I think the Bills still have, they're still very good. Don't get me wrong. But, they have to start meshing together because you have that thing in the back of your head. What is Diggs going to freak out here? Is he going to have a moment? So that's something that's in the back of their minds. Their defense played really well against Vegas as well, but it's they're going to they'll be good, but I don't know. They got to get through a lot of teams, especially the Dolphins is next coming up on Sunday. All right, number 4, I have the Eagles. And the reason why I have the Eagles up there is they're playing okay offensively. Not as good as they were last year so far. Defensively, they're very good up front. They have these monsters in the middle with Fletcher Cox, with Carter, with Davis. They are getting to the core. Obviously, you sprinkle Brandon Graham in there. He's been there for a long time now. Sweat. Forever. Hassan Reddick. I mean, they have D lineman on D lineman on D lineman. Their offensive line is stacked. Kelce leads the way there, and that damn play that they run always on, short yardage things. They should ban it, but that's just my opinion there. Sure. But they did struggle against the Bucks a little bit. They did get the win, but there's something not right. I don't know. They're 3-0. Okay, we get it, but they got to start clicking. A.J. Brown had a little hissy fit on the sideline against the Vikings not too long ago, too. Mm-hmm. Is that something that's factoring in? So, I don't know. All right, number 3, the Dolphins. Okay, this one was tough because I know they've been shutting. I mean, they've just been outstanding. Mostert, You got Tyreek Hill. They didn't even have Jalen Waddle last game, for goodness sake. And Tua's just been like, whoa, what is going on here? I mean, he's been, obviously he's got to stay healthy and not get, his head bashed around too. But the Dolphins look really good. And I think when you look at their offense, they're good. Their defense is led by Vic Fangio. We all know what he can do with the defense and things like that. And they're doing a pretty doggone good job. They beat the Chargers. They kicked the crap out of the Broncos. Sean Payton got all mad and was like, "What's the question? What's the question?" Yeah, shut up. We've known this for a while, Sean. And the fact that you got beat up by one of the youngest coaches in the game is hilarious to me. You got
by the former Broncos ball boy, man.
And wanted to be a player, and then guess what? He just beat the living daylights out of you. How does that feel, Sean? How does that feel? So, but I got to give the Dolphins credit. They've been hot, and they don't. There's no signs of them slowing down by any means right now. So, I give them at 3. I think that's a good place for them. Number 2, I have the Chiefs. Well, it's the defending champs, and they just kicked the Bears. Well, you're supposed to kick the Bears' ass. I mean, for goodness sake, they looked awful. They were terrible. But I mean, the Chiefs are still up there, man. You can't run away from the fact that they're able to do things that a lot of other teams aren't able to do. They just got Chris Jones back, and literally the first game back, he was a force. I mean, he's showing why he's one of the top, defensive players right now, and they've got a pretty good defense. They're getting guys back. Obviously, they got Travis Kelce, and no, I'm not going to mention what's been going on lately. We've already been through that. But they're still the Chiefs, man. Even if they don't have, the Tyreek Hill, but Kadarius Toney's been, ever since week 1 has just kind of fell off the radar for a while, and but there's other guys that are making that impact. You have Jerick McKinnon, Marquez Valdez-Scantling. They have weapons. Sky Moore. They're still that good. I believe that they're still up there. Number 1, I have the 49ers. They have beaten the crap out of the Steelers. And the Steelers aren't a terrible team. No matter what you think. They're they still got TJ Watt. Their defense is tough to get. They beat the crap out of them. It was like 30-7. And they play the Rams. I mean, it was a little bit of a, back and forth game, but, obviously they got the job done. That defense, Nick Bosa is just a monster, man. And, the offense with Brock Purdy looks 10 times better than when it was with, Trey and Jimmy Garoppolo. So McCaffrey, you add that in there too. I mean, good Lord. They're kicking butt, and they beat the crap out of the Giants, even though the Giants aren't as good as people think that they are. They think, they came back against the Cardinals. They came back against the Cardinals. That's all I got to say. We don't need to go from there. So you got that factored in, and the 49ers right now look like they're the team to beat. You still have to go and take on the Eagles. You just have to defeat the defending champions, but as of right now, I'd take the Niners over the Eagles. But there's my Infinity rankings for this week. Let us know what you guys would add. We do have some comments. Let me get to those here before we get to Voldy. Nick Dahlhoff, I'm still not drinking the Kool-Aid on the Lions hype. That's fine. I'm not either. I'm just saying. I mean, I'm giving them some credit. They're 6. They're not 5. So they're not in the top 5. They're just outside. Now if they beat the Cheeseheads at Lambeau, then I'll jump on the bandwagon. Well, please do, and please beat Jordan Love.
Please.
The Aints couldn't get it done. They had a 17-0 lead, and they couldn't beat Green Bay. It's just unbelievable. Then, Lucas, let's roll, my guy. So, yeah, anyway, Voldy, what are your thoughts on the ranks and any changes? What do you think?
Honestly, there aren't too many that I would change, if any at all. I do like the Lions at 6 there for you, just because they're a team the last, season and a half. They've been a team that's kind of been a thorn in the side of a lot of teams
Right.
and a lot of matches. They've made it tough. They've found ways to win. Unfortunately, they've had some ways that they've lost some games as well. But this year, you start to see things kind of slowly but surely get together. Let's just hope not against the Vikings coming up to the last 3 weeks of the NFL season in that case. But up until that point, there's certainly a team that can certainly be reckoned with as well. Got a good mix of some experience now under the system with Dan Campbell. Young guys coming up and contributing as well. That's what you want out of your team. The Bills at 5, they're a team that I feel like if the window isn't already closing on them now, because I feel like either this season or next season, they need to win a Super Bowl. Otherwise, it's all going to come down crashing, and it's going to come crashing hard. Because I felt like if it wasn't last season or this season, I don't think it's going to happen in Buffalo.
Right.
And it hurts to say that, too. The Eagles at 4, you got to remember, the Eagles and the Eagles here at number 4, they're dealing with 2 new coordinators on each side of the ball here, offensively and defensively. They lost those guys the head coaching jobs. That speaks to obviously the good coaching that they've had in recent years. But now you have obviously that they've had a few bumps in the road as well on both sides of the ball. Injuries, plays not being made as well. That's because they've got new coaches, and they're still finding ways to be extremely competitive and kind of give those glimpses that they had of last season, but still not to that full potential that they have as the Eagles and the defending NFC champions. The Dolphins at 3. Look, you put up 70 points in an NFL game. That's going to turn some heads and definitely you're doing something right there, especially with Mike McDaniel. I feel like especially with this recent group of young head coaches that they've had, or new head coaches that they've had in the last maybe 3 or 4 seasons, Dan Campbell, Mike McDaniel as well. You're starting to see now all of this starting to turn around for them too, where they were their first couple seasons, they're like, hey, we're going to be competitive. We lose by 17. But now they're like, hey, we're going to be competitive. And in this case, you're winning by 50 points for Mike McDaniel and the squad there, because they've got the youth and they've got the mix of talent that they want. Guys want to go to these places and play because they've heard from some of the guys that have played there saying, hey, this is where you want to be. We've got something special here. And as much as I hate to say it, because the Dolphins are my Tampa Bay Rays of the NFL, I will not cheer for the Dolphins to do well in anything, in any sort of capacity. Even though I love Mike McDaniel, I think that Tyreek Hill is a personality within itself. I hate to say it. I will not cheer for the Dolphins to do well in anything. So having them at 3, okay, fine, sure, we can put them there. The Chiefs at number 2, boy, have they just really been a media circus as of late. If it wasn't for them being also the defending NFL champions, here comes some more talk off the sidelines, personal lives that aren't so personal as well. Can confirm as well that Taylor Swift will be in attendance of the Chiefs-Jets game coming up Sunday Night Football, so I'm sure we'll have a Taylor cam on her at all times in that suite, sitting next to Donna Kelsey as well for that game as well. But yeah, they've got a similar situation too compared to where the last year. Fortunately, the receiving core isn't their biggest strong suit. If Travis Kelsey goes down, we'll see what'll happen, especially with the game that they had to open up the season against the Lions there. They just don't have a fully trusted receiver that they've had in recent years, because last year it was kind of patchwork. You had Marquez Valdez-Scantling. You had McCole Hardman. You had Juju Smith-Schuster. Well, most of those guys are gone, and the guys that you brought in as well, fortunately not really cutting the mustard right now for that. But they're still finding ways to, obviously look like the Chiefs of old. It's just wondering how much longer you can get away with it before other teams start like, oh, yeah, we can take care of that. That's we take him out, and we've got the game in the bag at that point. Then you put the Niners at 1 there, and I see what you did here with this, too, because obviously they're the team on the West Coast. They're on the forgotten coast of everything because everybody's all focused on these teams in the Midwest and also in the East as well. But San Francisco, I feel like this team here, even with Brock Purdy and that whole situation they've got Debo, they've got Brandon Ayuk, they've got McCaffrey. Oh, let's look on the other side of the ball, too. Here comes Bosa off the edge as well. That just continues to get stronger and stronger, and definitely look at a player or two that could definitely put a whole team on their back. We know what McCaffrey can do. We saw it in Carolina, and as soon as he comes over to San Fran, did not even miss a beat. Debo continues to play at a high level, even though some of those injuries are starting to stack up.
Yeah.
He can continue to be that. Oh, yeah. Let's not forget, we forgot to mention the absolute electric factory that is George Kittle, too. Maybe not the highest of numbers that we've seen from him in years past, but hey, he can still burn you for, 150 yards and 3 tuds and still get it done, even blocking, receiving, and, getting his quarterback as much help as he can do, too. I mean, that's as close to a complete football team as you can have, especially for a team that's really not done much of anything except, hey, we've got some wins in the regular season and, obviously made it to as far as they could last season, given the fact that they had 0 quarterback help in the back half of the season, too. And you went with Mr. Irrelevant, but now is going to be looked at a quarterback one. Definitely a good start for them too as well. Be interesting to see how these rankings change up here for the next time that we do it much later in the season.
Very true. And one thing I want to add to with the Lions, I do know that they lost to Seattle at Detroit, but let's not forget that they were in that game, obviously, and one bad mistake and whatnot. But
took it all the way to
some
overtime,
people, right, and if some people have an issue with that, well, I mean, it is what it is. I'm a Viking fan. I'm just giving them some credit just because they've played well.
Absolutely.
They've won games, so it's that simple. I'm letting you know, Alex, I'm just letting you know, I don't think I will be voting for Money Munson this year for best guess. I'm still not over his harsh words. Broke me more than the Broncos' loss.
Unstuff the ballot box, baby. Pull those votes out of that box.
Damn
Put
right.
them at the bottom. Worst guess.
The one, worst guess. But, yeah. He'd be up for consideration if we did it. I'm kidding. But Alex, I feel bad for you just because you have Sean Payton as your head coach, and dude's a jackass, as we all know. But it is what it is. All right. Anyway, those are the rankings. Let us know what you guys think. You can make your own if you want. Let us know. We'd be happy to take a look and go from there. So, without further ado, that's going to do it for Infinity Rankings this time around. We got a little bit of a shortened ARA just because we had a lot of Tater Tot Hot Takes this week, but a lot of turmoil in New York for the Jets right now. Zachwilson playing like dog crap. They signed trevorsiemian, former Viking, by the way, and apparently Kaepernick inquires about maybe playing for the Jets. Whoa, interesting. Louholtz back on. Hey, good to see good old Lou around again. Says Ohio State's good, not great. And then Dame, breaking 3-team trade. Damianlillard is a Milwaukee Buck. So we'll be talking about that for ARA. So let's get it going. What's some absurd or approved?
It's time for everyone's favorite segment, Absurd or Approved.
Alrighty, it is time for Absurd or Approved. So Voldy, why don't you rattle them out for us, please?
Well, we start with the very unfortunate and ongoing saga that continues in New York, or I should say in New Jersey as well, with the New York Jets, as if it couldn't get any worse from one quarterback going down. One quarterback is struggling. Now you've got a quarterback legend voicing that the struggling quarterback should no longer quarterback the team that he used to quarterback in the sense of being a quarterback as well. Hang along with me on this one. It was noted during a conversation that former New York Jets quarterback Joenamath, Broadway Joe himself, said he has no confidence whatsoever in Zach Wilson leading the New York Jets here, even with the most recent 15-12 loss, or 15-12, 15-13, whatever it was, to the New England Patriots this past Sunday, including which was a safety towards the late stages of the game that made it back up to a one-score difference, and ultimately losing by at least a field goal against the New England Patriots. 14 straight losses to the Patriots as well in that mind, so that's why wearing the colors here today. But in a conversation that Joe Namath had on a ESPN radio show as well, he said, I didn't take anything positive out of the loss. It was awful. Quote, you can sit down. You can sit down for a play. You go right. What happened? I thought you're trying to win and make plays. You quit on a play. What is going on? It's disgusting. And even did note it say of maybe, he said that maybe the Jets should trade Zach Wilson as well. Quoted as saying, I wouldn't keep him. I've seen enough of Zach Wilson. Now, we know that the tenure of Zach Wilson in the Big Apple there, unfortunately, has not been very good, unfortunately, and it's not getting much better, especially pressed into this season, because he was going to be the backup behind Aaron Rodgers, sit the season, and obviously get a chance to watch the prowess that is of Aaron Rodgers. That lasted 4 plays, and then he's pressed into duty. Got a win against the Bills, but then since then, it's been nothing but tough sledding the stretch of the way as well. But looking at the situation they do have as well, do you think it is absurd or approved? Do you think Zach Wilson will be the starter by the end of the season based off his most recent performance and also Joe Namath's comments?
Well, I don't think he will be by the end of the season. I mean, he's not wrong. Let's call it what it is. Remember when people were saying that this is the best option for the Jets right now? Zach Wilson gives you a chance to, do what you need to. Right. Well, he hasn't been proven that whatsoever these past couple games. And I get it. They played Dallas, and this is coming off of that terrible injury with Rodgers. Kind of put things through a loop with them. I somewhat understand that. But another thing that I am thinking of, too, is they don't have a great offensive line either. He's been getting sacked a lot. He's had some poor decision-making. I think guys have been open, Garrett Wilson being one. Then they have those spats on the sideline. I think Michael Carter was upset or something like that and was angry. Did Dalvin even play on Sunday? Do we even know? I
don't even know.
Why aren't they utilizing him and Breece Hall? But I just think I don't think he will be. I think, and I'm not saying that it's going to be Trevorsiemian, because I think we know what Trevorsiemian brings to the table, and it's not great. Yeah. Unfortunately, he's a good guy and everything like that, but he's just not very good. But with Broadway Joe's comments, I agree with him on that. And, people, then they're like, well, Kirk Cousins and all this other stuff. And people, again, fail to realize no trade clause in Kirk's contract, okay? Mm-hmm. And you don't have the picks, and you don't have the money to get him. So you have that factored in. So it's got my stamp of approval, what he said. I mean, the guy's a legend, and, he can say what he wants about it. But, yeah, Zach Wilson won't be the starter by the end of the season. And he won't be a Jet after the season. So, unfortunately for Zach Wilson, he saw some change in Hard Knocks, but I just don't think it's there. So, right. Voldy, what do you think?
I think, if anything, a change of scenery is going to do Zach Wilson the most good that he has done probably in his whole career. As much as it pains me to say, because, it's not like Zach Wilson is a bad guy or anything. Just a tough situation, and maybe he very well did just, swindle his way into the NFL and being a top pick. I don't know. I don't know him personally. All I know is the alleged reports of him and his extracurricular activities and some of the activities he does around people's moms as well. But that's neither here nor there. But looking at the situation as well, Joe Namath, very well informed about his, his certain opinion as well, saying that, he's not happy about it. It's not the first time Joe Namath has ever said something ridiculous or done something ridiculous to a national platform. And yes, Joe Namath is controversy in its finest as well. Not like he's a bad guy, just kind of does some old white guy things that are very questionable as well. Mr. Go out in the yard and yell at the sun type things. But will Zach Wilson be the starter? No, I don't think so as well. I think either some sort of activity where as much as I hate to say, maybe with this patchwork offense that this offensive line that just hasn't been able to, fully protect him and everything, as much as I don't want it to happen, he very well could get injured. Something's going to knock him out of the lineup, and then you get Tim Boyle, or you very well get Trevorsiemian as well. More on that coming up here with our next story as well. But I don't think he will be the start at the end of the season. And very well could be a situation where maybe the Jets are going to try and move him for some picks, maybe for some capital as well, just because it's not like he's, tainted goods or anything. It's New York. You take everything with a gigantic grain of salt there.
Yeah. There you go. But, yeah, you mentioned Boyle there. Maybe is Mike White a free agent? Is he still? I mean, they loved him.
I think he's somewhere else.
Yeah.
Say Miami? No,
maybe.
I don't think that's right.
Maybe the zoners know.
Look it up.
No one wants Zach Wilson. Jets are going to have to pay a pretty penny for another QB. Well, they don't have the money. That's the issue there.
Nope.
So good luck with that. And again, doesn't bother us being Vikings fans. So we got our own problems to worry about. All right, but we're sticking in New York, Voldy.
Yeah, so with the subsequent dismissal of that was the play for the New York Jets this past Sunday. The Jets, unfortunately, said they had to make a move, and they signed a veteran free agent quarterback, none too unfamiliar with the Big Apple, Trevorsiemian. He signed to the practice squad. The 31-year-old quarterback was released by the Bengals in the preseason, but is still familiar with the Jets facilities and the Jets locker room as well, although different coaching staff this go around as well. It will be Zach Wilson who will be starting on Sunday against the Chiefs, but Siemian is getting does bring that experience as well for the, of course, starting for the Jets, as well as just being a starting quarterback as well with experience for that squad as well, that compared to the other option that they have is Tim Boyle. Not a whole lot going on with that as well. So now you throw that into the mix, but also one certain quarterback that has been a free agent for a number of years and still continuing his journey trying to get back in the NFL is one Colinkaepernick, as he actually sent a letter to the New York Jets saying that, hey, I'm an option, I'm available, put me on the practice squad, in so many words as well. But it even took the likes of which that his good friend, J. Cole somehow just a sneaky good athlete and obviously musician as well, posted on his Instagram the letter that he sent, Colinkaepernick, that is, sent his letter to the GM of the New York Jets, that being Joe Douglas, voicing his strong suits and his ability to provide as being a scout team quarterback on the practice squad. So you throw all of this into the mix right now. You've got Trevorsiemian signing with the New York Jets, and also Colinkaepernick trying to make his push to the Jets. Is it absurd or approved? The Jets signing Trevorsiemian, who is it going to be more useful with Siemian on the practice squad, potentially in a starting role, or should the Jets even taken a serious look at Colinkaepernick?
Well, like I said before, you know what you get with Siemian. Guy's a bona fide backup. Or maybe not even so. And, again, he's had some flashes. Don't get me wrong. He kind of, after the Manning era, he was put into a position where he was the starter, and obviously it didn't work out in Denver. Backed up in Minnesota, didn't really play at all, I don't think, when he was here. But he adds the experience, like you said. But as far as the Colin Kaepernick thing, first of all, big J. Cole guy. Really like J. Cole.
Of course.
But, I think what age is he now? Is he late 30s now? Is that where we're at with Colin Kaepernick? 34. Oh, really? Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Take a look at that for me. And
take a look.
Yeah. The last time that the NFL did set up a workout for Colin Kaepernick, and again, if he says he's still got it, then you know what? Why don't you just put him on the practice squad? Let him prove it. I don't see why not. And I understand. With the whole thing, he did get. I feel like we got blackballed by the league, and he wasn't able to. 35. 35. Okay.
35. Colin Kaepernick is 35.
Okay, well,
but he hasn't been hit in 7 years.
And that's the thing. And that's the next thing I was bringing up, is that he hasn't played in that long. They had that workout set up, right?
Yeah.
The NFL had that, but then he changed it, and he decided not to go and hold his own in high school. So they gave him the opportunity, but he said, no, I'm doing it somewhere else. You know, like, are we done here? Are you done, or what are you doing here? So he hasn't been hit in a long time, and I feel like you have to factor that in, like you said. And I think Siemian at this point is this. He's got the experience. Obviously, so does Colin, but at the same time, you kind of gotta weigh your options here. I wouldn't be upset if they signed him to the practice squad, let him work up, and then if he's able to go, let him go. But let's not forget, it's been since 2016, right? That's a long time. That is a long time for not playing football. But if, defy the odds. But right now, yeah, I'd say Siemian's a better shot right now. Because Kaepernick, you don't know what you're going to get. You really don't. So, Voldy, what do you think?
I think looking at they went with the safe bet. Obviously, they went with the safe bet, trying to win some people over in that area with obviously the Trevorsiemian signing, and I have no qualms about it as well. You want to go with a guy that's at least familiar with the organization. He's been there. Last played in 2019. That's a lifetime ago as well, because a lot of the guys that are on this team weren't even on the Jets in 2019 as well. So you at least bring that guy in Trevorsiemian too. And look, for lack of a better phrase as well, what else you got to lose with Colin Kaepernick? Throw him in there. Just sign him to the practice squad.
Yeah.
Like, you would think at this point, with it being 7 years and everything that's happened, yes, you have some naysayers out there. It's like they reject a whole lot because of what Colin Kaepernick did as well with the national anthem and kneeling too. But look, it's been 7 years. Grow up, move on. If he can still do it, look, I don't know. Maybe make his contract incentive based. He's doing fine, at least monetarily. He's got a Nike brand. He's got a Nike deal. He's sure doing fine with his Netflix show or whatever he's got going on. He's doing just fine. Look, make his contract incentive based. If he makes it through the season on the practice squad, yay, yippee. I feel like the guy still wants to play football. And he would do anything. The fact that he wrote a letter and broke down everything that he would be able to do and offered to the New York Jets of all teams, and they still rejected him, I think the NFL has just completely closed the door to him as well, which is unfortunate because even at the time of when he was playing too, he was still an amazingly good quarterback. We'd be talking about in this day, if he was still playing, even at the age of 35, I feel like at this point, the Niners would have won at least 2 Super Bowls at this point with what they had with Colin Kaepernick and the squad, because they had a really good group that they had at that point. And even look at the guys that they have now. If they had Colin Kaepernick at quarterback, we'd be talking about, I feel like, a dynasty out in the Bay Area once again, even with the likes of George Kittle. And obviously if they needed McCaffrey or not, or at least Ayuk and even Debo in the mix too. This would be a very deadly squad that they have. But it's just unfortunate, everything, the political ramifications. And like I said, what else do you got to lose? And I just feel bad for Colin Kaepernick. It's one of those big what ifs in the NFL and just in sports general, what it could have been.
Here's an idea, and I think Alex makes a good point here. If Cap wants to come back, he needs to play in the XFL or CFL to show the NFL he still has it. Absolutely. That's actually not a bad idea at all.
Get Dwayne on the phone.
Yeah.
Get him on the phone.
I'm sure
I'm sure they've got each other's phone numbers. You feel like those two would have definitely linked up at some point in the future. Be like, hey, let's get this. Let's get you on the field.
If you got J. Cole and, there's enough stardom there to, get the connection and whatnot. So, that's actually not a bad idea. And, start him off on the practice squad. But, again, that's a big jump, especially from that. I'm sure he's kept himself in shape, so I'm not doubting that by any means. Anyway, next one, Voldy.
So looking at the week that was, not only in NFL but also in college football too, a huge upset and a huge win for Ohio State as they took down Notre Dame on the road with a little bit of extra something behind it as well. And it was quoted from former longtime Notre Dame head football coach Louholtz and former Golden Gophers head football coach Louholtz, talking about how Ohio State has been a good team, but they haven't been a great team, even with the production they've had in recent years under head coach, that being Ryan Day as well. And he comes to me saying it, even in looking and in the quote that was thrown out there earlier in the day, talking about Louholtz, saying that he doesn't want to come and talk to losing to Michigan 0-2. He doesn't want to talk about the big games coming up against Penn State and Michigan. He's a great coach. He's done a tremendous job. He's a great offensive mind. Ohio State's a good football team, but I don't think they're a great football team. He can go and call me all he wants as well. But then, coming after the victory that was, a little clapback from Coach Ryan Day saying, coming back and talking about what's Louholtz got to say right now and say about this Ohio State football team. And obviously coming back from that huge victory late in the game, getting a turnover, stealing a win in South Bend as well. Looking at all the comments and the conversation that took place leading up to, during, even after the game as well, is it absurd or approve Coach Louholtz's comments on Ohio State, and also that nice little clapback that Coach Day had in that post-game victory speech that he had on TV as well after the win.
It's been a while since I've heard Louholtz's name, like we said before the show.
Absolutely.
He's I mean, he was on McAfee or whatever, and there was a fake Louholtz that he was with too, or something like that. He didn't realize like how big of a hit the McAfee show is. So he obviously he gave his opinion. He says they're a good team, not a great team. And yeah, they got the win against Notre Dame and whatnot, and it's a big win, and I think Coach Day has every right to clap back. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Definitely.
But I think it's funny because people can give an opinion, then they can obviously clap back and say, see, we just proved you wrong, and you know what, you just got to sit back and say, that's fine. But Lou's not bothered by it. He doesn't have anything against them. He thinks they've done a great job and whatnot. So yeah, it's got my stamp of approval. I mean, I don't have any issue with it. I mean, granted, he was a former Notre Dame guy. Of course, he's going to go with Notre Dame and whatnot. So I mean,
right.
He just kind of gave it his opinion, and you got to clap back. And you know what? Lou, like 40 or 80, 90 years. I love Louholtz. He's 86. Wow. Oh my gosh. But Frank Caliendo does better impression than I do. But but yeah, it's got my stamp of approval. I don't have any problem with it. I think it's kind of fun and obviously cause some drama a little bit. So, Voldy, what do you think?
I love it. I mean, I love all as much drama as you can get because Ohio State, you look at the teams, like my feelings about Ohio State in the Big Ten Conference, but you get Ohio State out of the Big Ten amongst all the other teams, the Alabamas, the Clemsons, the Texas, like the national brands, if you will, of college football. They're always kind of looked at as like a second-class citizen, which is fine because everybody in the Big Ten hates Ohio State and even the Michigan fans as well. But looking at it, this is what you need in order to instill that with a team that's looking to make that big jump as well, because obviously they're a team that's searching for identity because they've rotated quarterbacks. They're trying to find something, build up some sort of steam. They, lose their top playmaker in Marvin Harrison Jr. for a good stretch of that game. He ends up coming back, ankle problems, a guy that's going to be a top 10, top 5 pick coming up in the next draft as well. They want to build as much momentum as they can. Then you throw in a legend like Louholtz, kind of pointing fingers, just kind of stirring the pot a little bit too, but at least making his as well-informed decision as 86 can do at that age too. And obviously Ryan,
wow.
Coach Day, threw that out there, or heard that, and he answered right back to the call. I love it. I love as much feistiness and energy college football has been here, even this season too. We even talked about with, of course, Colorado and everything too. Their loss, unfortunate, but you know what?
Yeah, they
gotta love the controversy and everything in there too, because I love it. It just brings more attention and makes college football that much more fun.
Yeah, and speaking of that game too, they have to take on USC next week.
They do.
So it's going to be tough, but I like it. I think Coach Prime's a good coach, but obviously that's for another time. We'll talk about that. But, yeah, good to see old Lou back at it. So, all right, last one, Voldy.
Well, our last story is going to be talking about the possibilities of where is Damian Lillard going to go here with the upcoming season. Well, it was announced that, Damian Lillard is heading to Milwaukee, of all places, as he is going to be playing alongside the Greek Freak, Giannis Antetokounmpo, as part of a 3-team deal with also the Phoenix Suns in the mix. Unfortunately, breaks up that big three that they had out in Portland with, of course, DeAndre Ayton and even the likes, not DeAndre Ayton, but Nurkic, and also that they had in CJ McCollum as well, that group that they had for a number of years. Breaks that all up. So now Portland's going to be getting Mr. Buck himself and Drew Holiday, DeAndre Ayton, and another player, along with unprotected draft picks in the first round and swaps in 2028 and 2030. While the Suns are also going to be getting Nurkic, Grayson Allen, Nasir Little, and Keon Johnson. While, of course, Milwaukee is getting Damian Lillard, the prize gem of this 3-team trade. Now, you look at all the pieces, all the talk that has happened this offseason, and even the play of Damian Lillard the last couple seasons, where he's just been doing it mostly about himself out in Portland and at least trying to will this team into being a contender. Now he's in a team that's been a contender, won a title a few years ago, and looking to return to form once again with the Milwaukee Bucks. Is it absurd or approved? Is Milwaukee now a front runner in the East with Damian Lillard on squad?
Alex says Suns got worse. Jokic is going to cook Nurkic. Well, just because you're a Denver fan. Yeah, no, just kidding. But no, Jokic, yeah, I mean, probably. But Ayton goes to the Trailblazers.
Yep.
Grayson Allen, that was, well, probably good riddance, because you never know what you'll get with Grayson Allen. So with Lillard in Milwaukee now, I mean, this team's looking damn good. You got Antetokounmpo. They didn't give up Middleton, right? If I'm not mistaken. Okay, so they still have Middleton. I mean, that's very good. They give up Drew Holiday and whatnot. I'm just glad that he didn't go to the Heat, and I'm glad that Miami or bust and all this stuff. I'm just glad that the Blazers were like, nope, not gonna happen. So I'm glad that it's Milwaukee instead of the Miami Heat, and Jimmy can't get his guy, and that's good with me. But yeah, I think I'd say they're the front runner, and I love the way the guy plays. I mean, he is just so good at creating space. He can score. He can pass. I mean, he can do everything. And Munson probably doesn't understand this, but he will now that's a complete point guard right there. Oh, yeah. A complete point guard. You're going to get everything you got with him, and you add Antetokounmpo, you add Middleton to that. Brook Lopez in the middle there, too. Jeez. I mean, this team is going to cook. Yes, they are going to be cooking. So, stamp of approval. I'm putting Milwaukee up in the East. I mean, the Nets are completely dismantled, right? You don't have the Durant and Kyrie show and, clown show, I should say that it was.
Yep.
But, I got to go with Milwaukee. And it's like, oh, you're not going with the Heat. They went that far. Doesn't matter. They're still a weak team, and they lost to the Nuggets. So it is what it is. All right, stamp of approval. Voldy, what do you think?
I think this is definitely going to be something to keep an eye on as well, because now even Vegas, the sports books, have them listed at a 4-1 favorite to win the NBA title against the Denver Nuggets, the Boston Celtics, and even those Suns as well that found a way to somehow get better and add a couple of pieces with the trade that they made, obviously with the Bucks and Portland as well. I think this is going to be good for the Bucks as well, because, obviously they need a guy that can be a secondary scorer behind Antetokounmpo, and maybe even a night where Giannis needs a night, or maybe he's out with injury too. Damian Lillard can fill that role, and he can do just quite fine. He's done it the last handful of seasons. You're doing well when you have a season, a season low, a career. You had a career year last year, 32 points, seven plus assists a game, and you had 71 points in one game last season too. I think Damian is going to be just fine, and if anything, that's going to be that piece that's going to help him take to that next level. Maybe very well go ring chasing, but at this point, that's what everybody's trying to go for. They're trying to get a title under their belt by any means necessary. And this could also prove very beneficial for the Timberwolves at the same point now, because of the fact it would probably cool down a lot of those conversations. Oh, we need to trade Cat to Portland so we can get somebody else out of there, and he can play with Lillard and everything. It's like, well, that's now off the table. So it's got my stamp of approval too. See ya.
Adios. So. Yeah, Milwaukee's going to be really good this year. Watch out. Mm-hmm. Do the Bucks have depth on their bench? I'd have to look at their roster, but I like their starting five, and I know that Antetokounmpo, I think at the end of the season, was not happy. Someone said, like, would you consider this a failure of a season? And he kind of went off on the reporter there.
Yeah, he went off, yeah.
Yeah, and I think Milwaukee's trying to keep him happy in order to, but this trade definitely is going to keep them happy. So, I'd have to take a look at their bench, but I think they're going to be the top team there in Milwaukee. So, all right, that is going to do it for ARA this week. Great job as always, Voldy. Shield shoutouts. There's some special Shield shoutouts tonight that we're going to get to, and we might as well just get into it. It's time for some of my Shield shoutouts.
Shield shoutouts.
All right, Shield, who ya shouting out tonight?
Well, do have to give a big Shield shout out to my mom, Jane Vold, who's celebrating a birthday today. She's probably not watching the show. I think she's taking a trip or something. I don't know what she does nowadays. But nonetheless, happy birthday to my mom, who is a grandmother. So that's always good. Spend some time with the kiddos as well, the grandkids. So happy birthday, Mom. A big Shield shout out to her. Also got to send out a big Shield shout out to the A-Train, Anthony Rowlick, for sending me.
Yeah.
I had to grease the wheels a little bit to get it, but he sent me a copy of Case Keenum's book that he wrote a few years ago as well. So big Shield shout out to the A-Train. Thank you for that as well. And, things are going good. Hopefully I'll get some time to sit down and crack that bad boy open, look for some more inspiration, and relive the good days of Case Keenum at his highest level as well. So, that's it. And that's what we've got for Shield shout outs this week.
So... Hashtag for the keepers. That's all I got to say.
For the keepers. FBK,
happy birthday to happy birthday to Jane Vold as well. Very happy birthday. It's a lot with Shield shout. We always have great Shield shout outs, and I feel like this one was very special. So great job as always. Voldy, have you been... Yeah, you are. You're on the socials medias. You've been checking. Close. Yeah. Very close. We got Sweatpants, people! Surprise! Yeah, baby. Surprise, baby! Yes! We have MinneZona Sweatpants available. My hope is to order those sweatpants by the end of this week so that we can bring it to you, the people. It is very... they're going to be very comfy. They're probably going to be 5 out of 5, like we say, with the shirts and all that stuff. Yep. So look on the socials medias. You can Venmo myself or Voldy for the sweatpants. Yep. And don't forget, too, it doesn't have to be Venmo. If you want to send it by carrier pigeon, that's fine, too. That's okay. Yeah, we'll figure out a way. So no worries. We can help you out by any means on that. So $30. $5 shipping if need be, if needed. So we can do that for you. All right, but pick them. Guys, get those picks in this week. We're doing the prize. It's for the Favre jersey, all right? A white Favre jersey, a classic right there. Better in a Viking than a Packer. So that's a good sign there. So get those picks in. You have a chance to win a free Favre jersey, baby. So keep an eye on that. And like Voldy said, he was just showing you just a minute ago. We got stickers. We got some awesome stickers. We'll probably do a giveaway with stickers for the Pick'em coming up in coming weeks. But we've got plenty. We got $2 if you just want to buy them. Small ones, big ones are $3. Very easy to get done. We got it fully stocked, ready to go for you. And we can send them whenever you want. So let us know if you'd like some.
Got the merch.
We've got merch. We got T-shirts. Limited edition XL is still available if you would like.
Yep.
$20, $5 shipping. Same with our regular shirts as well. Look at those bad boys. And, there's the 5 out of 5 stars, guys. It's that simple. It's that much fun. You got to do it. And check out W2 Performance. Will Rattel and his stuff on the socials medias at www.w2performance.com. Thank you to National Fleet Graphic, Crown Rental, Tyler Knutson, the victorious P.O.D. with Tyler Hermann and Jack Vickers. Check the leaderboard. I believe Tyler is up there with the top people, as well as Jack. Make your picks. So check out their podcast, Victorious P.O.D., all your fantasy football needs. Check out TLS Performance, Troy Stoudemire Jr., and check out Popcorn Bucket List. They've got new content every week, new episode pretty much every week, I'd say. Nick Dahlhoff, Ryne Myhrberg, and Omni Entertainment on the YouTubes. So without further ado, Voldy, that's going to wrap up episode 165. It was jam-packed. A lot to talk about with our Minnesota sports teams. So, Skull Vikes, Ski-U-Mah, row the boat, go Gophers, go Twins. They're losing right now 4-2, but you know what? They already got it wrapped up, so I'm not too worried. So, we'll see how it goes. But, there's going to be a lot to talk about. Look on the socials medias. Again, pick 'em, Sweatpants, all that. We'll get it taken care of for you. Get it done. All right. Anyway, without further ado, remember, folks, keep in the zone.
Hello.
Thank you for watching MinneZona Sports Live. Join us Wednesdays at 7 p.m. for live show broadcast. And as Voldy likes to say, follow us on all the socials medias.